Hey guys, what's up? Hope everyone is doing great on this Tuesday, April the 4th. We got a big 13 game schedule tonight, guys. Yesterday we did have the day off. It was the NCAA final. Today back in action. The reason for this jam-packed schedule, 13 games. At first glance, guys, we do have some of these big lines that we're used to seeing in these recent days. We're going to talk about those and some other interesting matchups. We do have a lot of important games on tonight's schedule. With playoff implications. We're going to break everything down and see what we can come up with. I will definitely, guys, be doing a follow-up video later on. I am doing this a little earlier than usual. Just decided to get a bit of a head start because of there's so many games. And with that being said, let's get started, guys. In the first game of the night, guys, we got the Cleveland Cavs going to Orlando to take on the Magic. Cleveland currently 5-point favorites on the road. I had Cleveland favored by 4 in this game. Guys, in this game, just by taking a quick glance at the standings, we can see that this game is pretty much meaningless for both teams, even though both of them have very slim chances of moving up in the standings. Cleveland 2.5 games behind the third place Sixers. With just 3 games left on their schedule. Philly with 4 games. The chances of them moving up slim to none. Orlando, the last team to not be eliminated, a team that is still looking into a play-in spot. They're the last team. It looks like tonight their fate will be sealed. But guys, it makes little to no difference for Orlando. They have been playing out their whole season, looking to win every single ball game. The young guys on that team building winning habits. They have a bright future ahead of them, that is for sure. Cleveland in this ball game, guys, I think is rightfully so the favorite, and with this big of a number. They're playing all their guys. If you look at the injury report, everybody's in the lineup. They look like they want to keep their mojo going into the playoffs, and that's a good sign for them. I'm not really into like the teams resting their players in the final week of the season. Could lose a bit of that rhythm. Sometimes they end up paying for it. Cleveland has been going full steam towards the playoffs. I like that, and I think tonight they can go into Orlando and get the job done. I have Cleveland as a 5-point favorite, winning this ball game and covering the spread. In our next game of the night, guys, we got the Miami Heat traveling to Detroit to take on the Pistons. Miami currently 13-point favorites. I had Miami estimated as an 11-point favorite. What kind of analysis can we do here, guys? The Pistons, the worst team in the league, with a poor, very poor 16-62 record. Losers of 9 straight, going from loss to loss, getting blown out. The Miami Heat need this W. They're in seventh place. Just 2 games behind Brooklyn. They're going to give it a shot to catch them, even though, guys, it is a bit of a long shot. I don't know if they'll be able to catch them in time. The reason for this high line, we know Miami has not been reliable when laying these many points. And just with that stat alone, guys, I don't know what their against the spread record is because I don't really pay attention to that too much. But I'm sure it's not very good. In this spot, guys, I'm going to be looking to take Detroit here with the plus 13. Even though the chances are I probably won't be involved in this game. But this does look like a candidate, guys, that we could see some wacky result. I will definitely not be involved in this game, actually, the more that I think about it. But if I had to go with the side, I take Detroit with the points, even though that is also very risky in itself. In the third game of the night, guys, we got the Milwaukee Bucks traveling to the country's capital to take on the Wizards. The Bucks currently 13-point favorites. I had Milwaukee favored by 11.5 in this game. Washington, guys, we know has been officially eliminated, and for the past couple of weeks have been playing with a bunch of their subs. More of this going on tonight. Morris, Porzingis, Beal, Kuzma, all out for the Wizards. Playing out the rest of the regular season with some of their subs. The Bucks, on the other hand, guys, first place in the East, 2-game lead over the Celtics with just 4 games left on their schedule. This is definitely a game that is a must-win for them, and I'm pretty sure that they will go in there and get the job done. I have Milwaukee here with the minus 13 as my pick. Not really too scared laying these many points with the Bucks. They have proven against some of these lower-tier teams that they can go in and get the job done and get the job done early. Milwaukee, guys, is also going to be on the first game of a back-to-back. They're going to be resting Chris Middleton tonight. They tend to do this when they're on back-to-backs. They give Middleton the night off against the theoretically inferior ball club, and in this case, the Wizards are definitely inferior to the Bulls, which the Bucks are going to be playing against tomorrow. So my pick for tonight, guys, Milwaukee minus 13. In our next ball game, we got the Toronto Raptors in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. The Raptors, guys, 14.5-point favorites. I had Toronto favored by 13. These two teams played against each other just a couple nights ago. Toronto won that game by 20. Looks like tonight, guys, we're going to have a repeat of what happened the other night. I have Toronto winning and covering this ball game also, 14.5. I think if Charlotte were to do something, the books would give us a little bit of a lower line after that last game. They're giving us the same line. Especially if you look at the injury report, we see that a couple of players are also listed as questionable for Toronto. OG Anunoby added to this list. Charlotte, guys, still going to be playing with all their subs. None of their regulars are going to be in the lineup. Toronto, guys, needs this game because in the last three, they're going to be playing the Celtics twice on the road and Milwaukee, their last game at home. And they are in a fight to move up in the standings. They are currently in the 9th spot. They're going to look to leapfrog Atlanta, hopefully jump up to the 8th spot, and get the very, very important position that will give them a second chance in case they lose the first round of the play-in tournament. Toronto, guys, in the minus 14.5 is my side in this game. I do expect them to go in there and win comfortably. In our next ball game, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. Minnesota, 2-point road favorites at the moment. I had Minnesota favored by 1. Minnesota, guys, the team to talk about in this ball game. In their last game, I'm sure you all saw what happened to them. They were at home against the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are pretty much putting in G League players. They went in there and got a straight-up win against the Timberwolves, who are in a battle in the Western Conference to make the playoffs. 19.5-point home favorites, guys, ended up losing straight up. This has not happened in the NBA since 1995. They're going to be going down in the history books. Minnesota, guys, if you guys saw that ball game, saw some of the highlights. The last play of the game, they were down by 2 points, and Kyle Anderson drove to the bucket and shot a finger roll layup that ended up going over the backboard. Incredible scenes, guys. These are professional ball players, an NBA team making some huge mistakes like that. Now, a lot of people are talking about this being rigged. Who knows? It could be. It is kind of tough to. If you look at that, especially that final play, how can a player miss a shot that bad? It happened. It happened, guys, and the Timberwolves ended up losing that game straight up. Tonight, the books are giving us the Timberwolves as a road favorite. They're looking for them to bounce back because now they are in danger, guys. They are in danger, and they need this win. Obviously, a lot more than Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in the 6th spot with a 2-game lead over the Miami Heat. Definitely Minnesota is in need of this ball game a lot more. The reason for this line, but in my opinion, guys, how can you recover from something like that so easily? I think the morale definitely must be low with Minnesota. In my opinion, guys, the only way I can go with this game is with Brooklyn, but we do have a couple of players that are listed as questionable this game. Karl Anthony Towns, he had a bad game against the Blazers in that game. He's listed as questionable tonight with some kind of illness. This is definitely going to be one of the games that I'm going to be updating later on. So take this right now with a grain of salt. Right now I am looking at Brooklyn, but I will update this play a little later on in my next video. In our next ball game, we got the Atlanta Hawks traveling to the Windy City to take on the Bulls. So the Bulls currently 3.5-point favorites. I had Chicago favored by 2 in this game. Both these teams in a fight. They're currently in a play-in spot. Atlanta in the 8th seed. Chicago 10th. The Bulls, guys, in their last game were at home against the Memphis Grizzlies. They fell early in that game by 20 points. They were down 20, made a huge run in the second half and ended up winning that game by 19. A huge 40-point swing. The Bulls, we know, at home against some of the top teams in the league, play very well. The only problem with the Bulls, guys, they are very inconsistent. Tough team to handicap, definitely, this season. The Hawks know better themselves. They are also a very inconsistent ball club. If you look at what they do, they win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose it. They can't really go on any kind of streak, either winning or losing. They're not really a trending team. They're whatever you get on a daily basis type of team. They are 39-39, a game ahead of the Bulls. This is definitely one of the important games of the night that do have playoff implications. That's for sure. On the injury report, what's important to see here is Trae Young is listed as questionable with an illness. DeAndre Hunter has missed the last couple for the Hawks. He's also going to be missing from tonight's ball game. Chicago, pretty much at full strength. Don't look to have anything new on that list. In this ball game, guys, I'm going to be looking to go with Chicago here. And the money line, I'm going to pay this little extra juice. Wouldn't want to get hooked here. I actually got hooked in their last in the game Atlanta-Dallas. I had Atlanta as a 3-point favorite. That was my pick in that game. They only ended up winning that game by 2. Just pay a little extra juice, guys. Be on the safe side. I expect Chicago to win this ball game and move up in the standings, make things interesting in the final days of the regular season. In our next game, we got the Boston Celtics traveling to the city of brotherly love to take on the Sixers. The Sixers are currently 2-point home favorites. I had Philly favored by 1 in this game. Just by taking a look at the standings, guys, here on this game, you can see that this is definitely a more important ball game for the Celtics than it is for the Sixers. The Sixers look like they're pretty much going to be finishing the regular season with the 3rd spot. The Celtics just 2 games behind Milwaukee. Going to give them a run to see if they can possibly get the top spot. Which makes this line a little strange in my opinion, giving Boston points on the road. I think we'll draw a lot of the public money. That is for sure. But I did look at the injury report. From the looks of it, the reason for this line is that Jaylen Brown is listed as questionable. Robert Williams is going to miss. Their center, the big man, he's going to be out with for rest. So we do obviously have to wait and see what Jaylen Brown's status is going to be in this ballgame. What I expect to happen here is if he gets ruled in at Boston, maybe the line flips, they become a short favorite. Still won't change my mind. I do expect Philly to win this ball game. I'm going to take some of this right now, a small bet on Philly right now, probably half size, with the -2, and hopefully Jaylen Brown gets ruled in and we get some points for Philly as a home dog. I do expect them to bounce back in this game and win. They did lose their last one in Milwaukee. I think they're going to want to tune things up just before the playoffs. I like him in this game. Philly and the money line is my play. I think this is the right side in this ball game. In our next ball game, we got the Denver Nuggets on the road taking on the Rockets. Denver currently 9-point road favorites. I had Denver favored by 10 in this game. Denver, guys, with a 3-game lead over the second place Grizzlies. It looks like they have all but wrapped up the top spot in the West. Even though mathematically Memphis could still catch them, I don't think this has a high probability of happening. Denver, in their last few games, has been playing without Nikola Jokic. He's been out with a calf strain. I don't know if it's precautionary, if it's a real injury, but he has not been on the court. For tonight, he is listed as questionable. I don't know if they're going to want to bring him back for a ball game like this. And the short line kind of indicates that he probably won't be in the lineup. Everyone else does look like they'll be in, even though last minute I wouldn't be surprised if we did get some surprises from Coach Malone and he did rest some of the other ball players. In this game, guys, I would expect Denver to be a double-digit favorite. Houston, we know, has been getting pounded every game. Recently, the only win that they have gotten was against the Pistons. A small break from all their losing. They did get back to losing ways in their last one against the Lakers, lost by 25. This game, guys, I think Denver should have been a double-digit favorite. I think this short single favorite number with Denver by 9 will draw money on the Nuggets. I think we could see a surprise in this ball game. Even though Denver should win this game, I think it could go down to the wire. My pick in this game is Houston and the +9. I will take some here, and we'll wait just in case we get a surprise and Jokic comes back. We will definitely get a bigger number, but I think Houston is the right side in this ball game. In our next game, we got the Portland Trailblazers, the G League level Portland Trailblazers, traveling to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are currently 17.5-point favorites. I had Memphis favored by 17 in this game. No real analysis to do here, guys. We got the Memphis Grizzlies, the top home team this year in the NBA, with a 34-6 home record, taking on the Blazers, who are playing a bunch of G League guys. If you take a look at the injury report, guys, from Portland, it's actually quite amusing. The list is so high. I think there's like 12 or 13 players on this list. I don't know who's going to be playing. I think don't they have 15 player rosters? If 13 players are on the injury report, who's going to be playing? G League guys. They're going to have to call in some guys that we definitely have never heard of. But guys, in their last game, that didn't stop them from going in to Minnesota and getting a straight up W as a 19.5-point road dog. Memphis in this game, guys, obviously the favorite. Doesn't look like they're going to be resting anybody. Other than Dylan Brooks is listed as questionable. They might hold him out. but Memphis should win and dominate this game. But guys, I think a lot of people will be expecting much of the same. They're going to be expecting the Grizzlies to pound them and Portland coming back to earth. But guys, in this game, I do think we could see another surprise. Maybe not a straight up win, but I think Portland could backdoor cover this one. The plus 17.5. I know there's no logic in this play, but something tells me that I think a lot of people will be betting on them to get blown out once again, and they could come back and do them in once more. Portland plus 17.5. Even though, guys, I don't think I'll be involved in this, but I think we could have a bit of a surprise in this ball game. In the next game of the night, we got the Sacramento Kings traveling to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. The Pelicans are currently 4-point favorites. I had New Orleans favored by 4.5 in this game. The Pelicans, guys, are definitely uptrending during this final part of the regular season, have been beaten some very tough opponents. They have won a couple straight. They are 40-38 now, 3.5 games ahead of the 11th place Mavs. The play-in tournament looks secure for the Pelicans. And if you look at the standings, guys, they're just a half game behind the Warriors and the Clippers for a spot that could lead to a direct playoff berth. I don't know if they're going to make it that high, but they will be involved in the playoffs one way or the other. The Kings, third in the West. Doesn't look like they're going to be budging from that spot, guys. It looks like they're going to be wrapping up their regular season as the third seed. And a very impressive regular season for the Kings. Played pretty good basketball all season long, have been consistent. Mike Brown has that team playing very, very well. In their last ball game, though, the Kings lost at home straight up, guys, to the San Antonio Spurs. One of the two big home favorites to lose on Sunday, them and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mike Brown ripped them at the end of that game, called it unacceptable. And he was right. Losing to the Spurs at home, even though the game was meaningless, is not what the Spurs, is not what the Kings actually want to be doing. Just heading into the postseason, they won't. I don't think they're going to want to take their foot off the pedal. They want to go in with momentum. A loss like that is not what Coach Brown wanted for his team. In this ball game, guys, of course, the Pelicans uptrending, do need to win a little more than the Kings. But I do think the Kings, guys, will come into this game looking for a good test, get back on the horse. And I kind of like him here with the points. I'm going to take him with Sacramento plus 4. I think this game is going to go down to the wire. Toss up who can get it. I think Sacramento will be competitive in a game that could be very, very high scoring. Also, these two teams we know like to get up and down the court. In our next ball game, we got the Los Angeles Lakers traveling to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. Lakers currently 9-point road favorites. I had the Lakers favored by 6.5 in this game. This line, guys, obviously very high. We know the Lakers have been uptrending, playing great. The Jazz have been struggling, and they're going to be coming back from a bit of a road trip. This is going to be their first game back. Always a tough spot for the Jazz, a Jazz team that has not yet been eliminated from a play-in spot. But we know, obviously, we've talked about this plenty of times. They're not a team that looks very interested in the postseason. They're looking forward to the offseason and rebuilding for the future. This is a very big line, guys, especially if you take into consideration the Utah Jazz's injury report. Lauri Markkanen is listed as questionable. He's always listed as questionable. But we see Colin Sexton has actually been upgraded to questionable, which means there's a very, very good chance that he plays in tonight's ball game. The Lakers, like we just mentioned, they are on an uptrend. They've won 3 straight, and they are going full steam ahead, guys. Not only to make the play-in spot, a play-in tournament that we talked about just a couple weeks out, but they're looking like they can move up to a direct spot in the playoffs. They're making a huge run here at the end of the regular season and been playing some pretty good basketball on the way. In this ball game, guys, this line is very high. I am positive that this is going to draw a lot of Utah money. What I'm going to do in this game is I'm going to wait, and I'm going to hope that Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen end up playing and this line drops and we get a better number for the Lakers. But for the video's sake right now, I'm going to say Lakers -9, but this is definitely going to be one of the games that I'm going to be updating in my video later on when I get more information about the players in this ball game. But the lean is on the Lakers. Hopefully we get a shorter number closer towards tip-off. In our next ball game, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder traveling to San Francisco to take on the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors currently 8-point favorites. I had Golden State favored by 7.5 in this ball game. Both teams, guys, involved in playoff contention. The Warriors currently in the 6th spot. Oklahoma City in 10th, just a game ahead of the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, a more important game for Oklahoma City, but the Thunder guys have been struggling during this final stretch. They've lost a couple of games that they should have won, could have made their lives a lot easier in securing a play-in spot, but they have been struggling. In their last game, they did lose at home to a Phoenix Suns team that was firing on all cylinders. A tough game for the Thunder. They were competitive for the most part, ended up losing at the end by 10, I think it was. They're coming into this game 38-41. The Warriors are currently in the 6th spot. They lost their last ball game, a tough one in Denver. Klay Thompson missed a 3 in the final seconds of that game that would have given them the win. He missed that shot. Denver ended up winning that ball game. Golden State dropped to the 6th spot. I think the Golden State Warriors and a lot of teams are eyeing the 6th spot in the West. I think a first-round matchup against the Kings is preferable to a lot of these teams in the bottom half of the West. I think a lot of them would want to avoid the 5th seed to avoid playing against the Phoenix Suns, and of course the 7th and 8th seeds that go against Memphis and Denver. In this ball game, guys, the line is a bit high in my opinion. It will draw definitely Oklahoma City money in this game. The Warriors, we know at home, are an extremely tough ball club. The good news for them is Andrew Wiggins actually looks like he's going to be back with the team. Not playing tonight, but I think that will boost the morale of the team, getting him back. Just to seeing him around the facilities and around the team will be important for them. And in my opinion, guys, this is a good bounce back spot for the Warriors, who are extremely good at home, 32-8. We know Oklahoma City, guys, is capable of going in there and doing the damage, but they have not been playing well during this final stretch. And my pick in this ball game is with Golden State -8. Definitely not one of my favorite plays of the night, but if I had to pick a side in this game, it would be with the Warriors and the -8. And in our last game of the night, guys, we got the Phoenix Suns at home taking on the San Antonio Spurs. The Suns currently 19-point favorites. I had Phoenix favored by 17 in this game. Phoenix, guys, obviously the superior team in this matchup, are at full strength, have won 5 straight games, firing on all cylinders. Look like the team that's heading into the playoffs, one of the most dangerous teams heading into the postseason. The Spurs, on the other hand, we know they're headed for the draft lottery, 20-58 on the season. But they did pull off one of the big surprises of the weekend. On the road, they were in Sacramento, went in there and got a straight-up win as 17-point road dogs. They have been pretty competitive in their last couple. The win, obviously, in Sacramento, a big win for them. And the game before that in Golden State against the Warriors, they were competitive for the majority of that ball game before falling apart in the end and losing by 15. They did cover that line also, guys. They were a big 17-point dogs, I think, in that game. So they've covered 2 straight with this number. Can they make it 3 in a row? I don't know, guys. Phoenix at home and at full strength. They also do need this ball game. They will get it. I have no doubt in my mind that this is... I can't see the Spurs going in there and pulling off an upset against Phoenix. They got way too much firepower. More serious ball club. And I kind of like Phoenix here with the -19. I know it's not one of the best feelings to lay these many points, but I think the difference between these two ball clubs is extremely high, and Phoenix is a serious team. I could see them winning and covering this spread, even though this is obviously not one of my favorites either. And this is what I got for you guys right now. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I will do a little follow-up video, a shorter video closer towards game time, once we get confirmation on some of these important players' status that we just talked about in the video. So guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to get the alert when the video comes on. Remember, we always have to be responsible and gather all the information before we put our bets in, our hard-earned money, guys. So make sure to subscribe like I just said and hit that notification bell, and I will see you shortly.